All right, now that you watched the video of the present, I hope you enjoyed it. I want you guys to follow along as I just quickly take you through how we would analyze the plot of this little short movie, as if it were a story. So when we're looking at a plot analysis, we don't want to just say the events. We kind of want to add more detail. So we don't just want to say there was a boy playing video games. Well, what else do we see? Because that's going to tell us a lot more about the world around him and maybe what he's going through. So in our exposition, we would make note of our character. We meet a teenage boy who's playing violent video games in a dark room. So that's kind of the explicit text, like what we see. But now we're going to make an inference about him. So from this, we can see that he seems angry, withdrawn, depressed. Like he kind of blows his mom off, and he's, cringes when the light turns on. So we can make kind of some inferences about his emotional state. Next, we get to the conflict. The conflict is that he will not accept the dog, the present from his mom, because the dog has 3 legs. His mom gives him the present, he's kind of interested, and he opens the box and then rejects it. If he had accepted the dog, we would not have had a story. So the problem is that the boy is against having this dog because it has 3 legs. He is rejecting it. That sets up the rising action. We see the boy ignoring the dog, kicking the dog, pretending the dog's not there. The dog then tries to get his attention, tries to and starts playing with this ball he finds. The dog's being all cute, having fun, he gets stuck under the box. So here we're just kind of listing events. But now we're going to make an inference. The boy is starting to show a little interest in this dog. He looks up from his game, notices him, starts showing some interest, right? We can see that the boy's fighting it. He's fighting this internal conflict he's having within himself to accept this dog. So next we get to the climax of the story, or the turning point. This would be that moment where the boy has to make a decision. A lot of people think, the climax is he plays with the dog. But that's not quite it. He has to decide, do I reject this dog again, or do I accept him? There's a point in the story where the dog bumps the toy towards the boy with his nose, and the dog and the boy look at each other. The boy has to make a decision, to play or not to play. And then in our following action, that's where we see the boy picks up the ball and plays with the dog. He gets up, and we have that moment where we discover, like the dog, he's missing a leg. That kind of clues us in as the reader or the viewer that, hey, he is, just like this dog, and maybe that's why he rejected him. So here's where we make some inferences, okay? We need to make the inference that the boy rejected the dog, not just because he was like, this dog's 3 legs. It's because maybe there was a problem with himself that he also didn't, because he was struggling with his loss of a leg. He rejected this dog thinking, my mom just is trying to, get me to, accept this, and he wasn't ready. So we need to use this information to make an inference. And that leads us to our resolution. The boy and the dog go outside to play, but we don't want to stop there. We want to look at details of this setting to see really how things have changed. It's sunny and bright versus the dark room in the beginning. We hear the boy laughing and the dog barking happily, and there's light and happy music in the background. That is a big contrast to the boy in the beginning of that dark room with violent video games and cringing when his mom turned on the light, right? We've seen a big change in him. He went from rejection of this dog to complete acceptance. And by seeing this change and looking at the series of events, that can help us connect to the author's message or truth that he wants us to get from the story, which is a message about acceptance. We see the boy over time accepting the dog with 3 legs and therefore accepting himself. So through inferences that we can make from charting this plot, we can see that the message of the story is that people can still be happy and accepted by others, even if they face challenges or have differences from others. What you guys are going to do next is you are going to chart the plot of the Cask of Amontillado. This is going to help you guys determine the overall message. So on Canvas, or if you need to get a paper copy from your teacher, you can work with a partner, but you need to chart the events of the Cask of Amontillado. Don't just write surface level events. I want you to try to make inferences about what Montresor is feeling, what Fortunato is feeling, especially Montresor because he's our main character here, who's telling us the story. What are we learning about him through his actions? What is that telling us, and has he changed? And if he hasn't changed, that tells us something too. So I hope you enjoyed this lesson and have fun with your assignment.